you very much for inviting me today. It's really great to be able to talk to you all. I have a question for you. What's the most important thing in your life? Well, you don't have to answer it because I have a very good answer for you. Love. That's the most important thing in this world as far as I'm concerned. Okay? And I certainly hope that each one of you will be able to find the love of your life and start a new family when you are ready. But unfortunately, not everyone succeeds in the Institute of Language. Sooner or later, you start quarreling with your spouse because of all the miscommunications that happen in verbal interactions. Okay, so today, as a linguist, I would like to share some interesting facts about human language, hoping that knowing them will somehow help you prevent unnecessary quarrels in your married life. So in that sense, my talk here today is a wedding speech at your wedding party. Okay, so just sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay, so first of all, language is not structurally designed for communication. And a couple of examples from the English language should suffice to understand this point. Old men and women. Okay? Did you know that this simple phrase is ambiguous? Actually, it has two meanings. Okay? The first meaning is this. Right now, old modifies only men. It doesn't modify women, so we don't know if women are old. Okay? And second meaning is this. This time, old modifies both men and women. So this time we know that both of them are old. Okay? Now, when we hear this phrase, we automatically interpret it either as A or as B, which may not be the same as what the speaker has in mind. This is a problem. Right? Now, let's go to the next example. You can't have too many t-shirts. Do you notice that this sentence is also ambiguous? It has two meanings too. Now, the first meaning becomes obvious in the following situation. You already have a lot of t-shirts, but you keep buying them until one day your mother scolds you by saying, you can't have too many t-shirts. Okay? Now, this time, what the sentence means is you are not allowed to have so many t-shirts. Right? So your mother's message is, don't buy it anymore. Okay? Now, the other meaning is just the opposite of this one, which becomes clear in the following situation. Okay? Imagine that you have a friend who is a big t-shirt collector. This guy buys t-shirts every week saying, you can't have too many t-shirts. Right? Now, this time the sentence means something like it's impossible to have too many. So what the guy is saying is, the more t-shirts you have, the better. Notice that this is what we are using to communicate with each other. No wonder we experience a lot of miscommunications. Okay? So now we know that the language contains a lot of ambiguities. Now, in that sense, we cannot say that the language is a good communication tool. On that note, I would like to add that language contains a lot of redundancies as well. Okay, so let's look at some examples again. Right? I play baseball, you play baseball, he plays baseball? Okay. Why do we have to say he plays baseball? I mean, what's wrong with he plays baseball? Nothing. Is there anything missing in terms of information here? Nothing. And yet, the grammar of English requires us to add that little s, to this, is it working? To the verb play here, right? The question is, do we really need a rule like this? Think about it. Okay? Now, when it comes to the verb be, the situation is even worse. I am a student, you are a student, she is a student. Why do we have to use three different forms for a single idea? Okay, what's wrong with I is a student or you is a student? Nothing. Okay? But again, the grammar of English requires us to use am for the subject I and are for the subject you. The real rule is a little bit more complicated than this. But the point is, if you were to design a language, would you make a rule like this? If yes, what for? Okay. So now we know that the language is full of imperfections, right? So that means when we experience a miscommunication with our spouse, we should take it easy. Why? Well, because now we know that it's not our spouse's fault. It's language's fault. Okay? All right, now selfish perception. What do I mean by that? When we hear language, we don't always hear what the speaker intends. What we actually hear is something that we selfishly create for ourselves. Now I would like to give you an example from my own experience. I love rock music, and one of my favorite songs is Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix. This song is interesting because it contains this funny line. Are you ready? It goes like this. Excuse me, wanna kiss this guy? I wish I could play my guitar here. Of course, Hendrix sang much better than this a while ago. Anyway, when I first heard the song, my immediate reaction was, "What? Which guy?" Okay? Later, I learned that what Hendrix was saying was, "It's the sky." Okay? Then I started studying linguistics, and in one of the textbooks that I was reading, I saw this set of sentences. And we see this guy and the sky again. Okay, can you see it? Right? The author of the textbook must have had Purple Haze in mind when he compared these two sentences about which he had this to say. Okay? At a normal conversational rate, these sentences can be spoken in such a way that they are acoustically indistinguishable. So that means these two sentences sound the same. Right? Now, it is totally up to us to interpret the same sound waves either as this guy or as the sky. This is not something that the Hendrix can control because we do this automatically. Now, you must be familiar with this kind of thing because I believe that all of you must have played the children's game known as telephone or Chinese whispers. Okay? Now, in this game, the first person whispers a message to the second person. Okay? And the second person whispers it to the third person. This process is repeated until the message reaches the last person who announces it to all the participants. Then the original message is compared with the final version, and everybody is amused to find that the two versions are different, and they laugh. Okay? I mean, this is a fun game, isn't it? Right? So they laugh. I will come back to this point later. But as far as accurate communication is concerned, this is a problem. Right? Now, is there anything that we can do about it? No. Okay? Because we are going this way. There is nothing we can do about it. But now that we know this, when we experience a miscommunication with our spouse, we can stay calm. Now, if the miscommunication happened for this particular reason, actually it will be interesting to investigate which sequence of words was misinterpreted as what. And when we know the answer, you know what we should do? We should laugh and go on with our happy lives. Okay? Now I want to talk about culture because language use are always reflexive. Okay? You know that there are many cultures in the world and that they may be different from yours. But did you know that there are no good cultures or bad cultures? Cultures may be different, but they are never good or bad in and of themselves. Okay? And we can say the same thing about how people use language. Incidentally, this is something that you should fully understand if you want to study abroad. You need to develop an attitude that allows you to expect and actually enjoy all the differences that you encounter in the country that you visit to study. If you describe them as bad, your life there will always be miserable. And so remember that. Now, let me give you some examples from Japanese culture. In Japan, traditionally speaking, we don't say positive things about our family members when we introduce them to others. Right? What do we say? We say things like, 出来の悪い息子でしてお恥ずかしい. What does it mean? My son's so stupid that he can't do anything. I'm ashamed. Okay? Many foreigners are shocked at this and say, stop saying such a bad thing about your own son. Right? Now, that's not the right attitude to have because this is part of Japanese culture and there is a good reason why we say what we say. Actually, this is how Japanese politeness works. In Japan, people lower themselves to show politeness. Right? Now, how do we lower ourselves? By saying negative things about everything that belongs to us. Okay, so this is the reason why there are so many Japanese people who say, つまらないものですが when they give presents to others. What does it mean? It means something to the effect of, it's nothing. It's really a stupid thing, but I want you to have it. Okay? And there are many, many Japanese people who constantly say, すみません, which is, I'm sorry. Right? Now, by apologizing, we are psychologically lowering ourselves. And when we do this, the people that we are talking to feel elevated. Now you know why Japanese people bow. We physically lower ourselves to show politeness. Okay? In your married life, you should expect differences of this kind because your spouse comes from a family that has a household culture different from yours. Some of the things that your spouse says or does may strike you as odd, but that's just a subjective judgment on your part. There must be a good and interesting reason behind your spouse's behavior. You should simply accept your spouse's culture and try to enjoy all the differences as if you are visiting a foreign country. Who knows, doing that may make you feel even more attracted to your spouse. Just like many international students who come to this country and falling in love with Japan when they understand and accept the uniqueness of Japanese culture. Young people. Now I'm going to say something that's very important. So look me in the eyes and listen carefully. Life is a desolate path to walk alone. Take my word for it. So it's a good thing that you are getting hitched now. Congratulations and good luck.